All right, thank y'all for coming during your planning period for today's training. Today we're going to be learning how to add technology into your lesson plans. And I know you guys used the before, doing, and after strategy, so that's what we're going to learn how to do today. So before we start, if I can get you to go around and just say your name and the subject that you teach.
Miss Rose, and I teach reading.
Miss Smith, I teach math.
Miss Solomon, I teach math and career preparedness.
Mr. Bockwell, I teach E2020 computer training.
All right, thank you. So, again, thank you for coming during your planning periods. I'll try not to make this too terrible for you. All right, so this is our agenda. We're going to look at what a 21st century classroom looks like today. And then we're going to talk about resources for the hook, how to capture your students' attention, resources for the line, keeping students engaged, and then resources for reeling it in, making sure they got what you taught them. All right, let's look at this image. This is a political cartoon that I chose to show you what a 21st century classroom looks like today, an old school way of teaching. Mr. Bockwell, what do you see in this image?
I see what education used to look like, and I see what education has become now.
And Ms. Allen, what would you take that to be? What did it used to look like?
Apparently it used to look like the teacher standing in the front giving lectures and talking to them. And now it looks like students engaging with different forms of technology and as teachers kind of monitoring them, guiding them along.
Okay. And so, Ms. Rose, technology in a 21st century classroom, what do you see? What are the different things you see in the picture?
I see a computer. It looks like some form of a tablet or iPad at the bottom that the little girl is using. And of course the teacher is more interacting with the child versus just standing in front of them.
Yeah, so this is what our classrooms have to merge into today. No longer do you have to stand in front of the classroom to lecture and teach, but you can provide your students with learning activities where they're using different devices. This is a quote from John Dewey. If we teach today as we taught yesterday, we rob our children of tomorrow. So that's telling us what, Ms. Smith?
We teach today as we taught yesterday. Because yesterday is old. That's what happened back then. This is a new day and age, so we have to change with the time.
Okay, very good, very good. So we have to step it up. For those of us who have taught for a number of years, don't give your age, don't say how old you are, but if you've taught for a number of years, you might be used to teaching by running copies of worksheets and passing them out and telling them to complete the worksheet and turn it back in. And then you pop that old VHS into the VCR and you said that was technology. Well, we no longer can teach that way. We have to move on to how our students learn today. So let's talk about how we could incorporate technologies in our before strategies. The before strategy is a KWL. Does everybody know what a KWL is? Can somebody tell me what KWL stands for?
What you know,
Okay.
what you want to know, is it right?
Mm-hmm.
And what you learn.
Okay, so the technology tool that you're going to learn today, how to use it in your classroom for the KWL, would be word cloud. And there are several different types of word cloud generators. You have Wordle, Tuxedo, and on your iPads you have Word Salad. So we're going to play with one of these. So if you will, if you're on a computer, you can pull up Wordle. No, I'm sorry, I'm actually going to actually use Tuxedo. And if you're on your iPad, if you would download the app Word Salad, and it's one word on the iPad. And this is what a word cloud looks like. They take all the words and they jumble them up, but you can make some words stand out bigger than others. And it helps to get the kids to start to see the connections in words and what it has to, how it relates to what you're teaching. So if you were doing a KWL and you wanted your students to do the K part, what's the K part again?
What you know.
What you know. So you would have to give them a topic. Ms. Solomon, you give me a topic in math.
Let's go with lines.
Lines. So they're all different types of lines, right?
Mhm.
So you might have them generate a word cloud on the different lines that they think they know. Okay, Ms. Rose, you said you're reading.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a story that you might teach.
Well, the Great Gatsby.
Okay, so if you were teaching the Great Gatsby, you can have them make a word cloud about the different characters and the different things they think the Great Gatsby might be about. And so before you start your lesson, you would want to have up on your board the topic. And then you would tell them to go to the website or the app to generate their word cloud. So let's do that now. You're on one of those websites. One word.
I did.
One word.
You said we're gonna create it?
Yeah, go ahead and create a, so if you're in TechZito, I'm going to go to it online for TechZito. You're going to create your word cloud. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is go to create. When you go to create, you're going to add your words. Alright, you can load words from a web page. So the first thing you'll want to click on is load. If you're on TechZito, you go to load. You can type the URL if it's a website, or for this activity for the KWL, you'll have your students just type the words in. So if you will, just go ahead and type some words.
It don't matter what they
Doesn't matter what they are. But of course, if you were doing this for your KWL, you would have them do words related to the topic at hand. And once you're done, you'll simply click submit. And notice at the bottom that little line is going to move to show you that it's creating it. Once you're finished, you close out of it, and that is your word cloud. Now with TechZito, the thing that I like is that you can change it to be different things. So go down to shape, and you can choose the shape you want it to be. It can be words, it can be pictures. Once you select a shape, you just simply click the X again to close out of it. You can also change the color. You can change the theme and the font. And once you're finished, your students can save it. And then you can have them share. So that's one way you can use it for your KWL in your classroom for your before strategy. With Word Salad on the app, it's the same way. Ms. Allen, did you get it? And it's very easy to use. And it's really cute. It's a fun way to get the students involved and start to get them interested in what you're teaching them for the day. All right, let's go back to the PowerPoint. All right, so that's the before. So a way you can use for the before strategy is word clouds. Now let's talk about keeping them on the line. So once you get them hooked, they're interested in what you're teaching them. We're still sticking with the KWL. So our strategy for them doing it is still KWL. But how could you use the KWL with technology? We're going to go to VoiceThread. So if you're on your computers, voicethread.com. If you're on the iPad, download the app VoiceThread. And this is digital storytelling. This is a way to get your kids involved in speaking or typing what they're learning. Alright, you'll have to set up an account in VoiceThread. So take the time to set up your account quickly. And while you're doing that, I'm going to play a VoiceThread I created. I don't laugh at me. This is one I did on the Great Depression for a class project. I'm going to turn it off and I'll turn it back on when it starts. Wonderful. This thinking. So while you guys create your own VoiceThread account, I'm going to try to get this one to play. It does not want to go right now, so let's see. Let's see if this one will play. Alright, this is another one. I didn't create this one, but mine would not play, so we'll just listen at this one.
Plus 60 equals 90. 8 plus 1 equals 5. 90 plus 5 equals 99.
Alright, so with this math strategy VoiceThread, they had the students demonstrate they knew how to solve a problem. So for a KWL strategy, this is still something you can have your students do. This is for the learner. So once you teach them a strategy, you demonstrate, then you have them create a VoiceThread so they demonstrate to you that they know how to solve the problem. And then they leave comments on the VoiceThread. You could actually start it off with your voice, telling them how to work a problem, and then they'll go to the next slide, and you'll have them add their voice on how to solve this problem.
I would do 7 times 3.
Let's talk about how to create a VoiceThread. Alright, so once you get in, you want to go to Create. And the first thing you have to do is upload. For upload, you have to select where your image or your document that you want to share is located. So I'm going to upload from my computer. And so you will find the picture, you'll open it, and then the image would upload. Once you have your picture here down at the bottom, you can add a title and a link so that the students give credit where they found the image. After you've uploaded all of your pictures, because remember, you just go to My Computer and you select your image. Once you have all of your image up, you go to Comment. And so there are many different ways you can comment. When you click the Comment tab, you can comment by dialing in. It'll give you a phone number to call, but that's with a paid subscription. You can use your webcam to make a comment, or you can just use your microphone. And here's typing. So when you want to record, I'm going to do webcam. You have to select Allow. It counts it down for you. And so now it's ready to record. And so it's recording everything that we're saying. Once you're done, while you're recording, you can doodle on the VoiceThread in case you wanted them to see different things on it. Once you're finished, just click Stop Recording. It's going to process, and then it'll play it back. If you like it, click save. If you don't like it, you click cancel. Alright, once you create a VoiceThread, you have to share it. So in order to share it, you can send the invite. You have to type their addresses here and then send an invite to them, or you can just get the link. Click get link. You want to copy the link, and then once you go into your email, you can send it out to whoever you want to share the VoiceThread with. So that's VoiceThread. So that's for which part of your lesson? The before, during, or the after? The during. Alright, last part is the digital exit slips. So this is your after strategy, is exit slip. And I know all of us like using exit slip. I think Ms. Solomon, you do exit slip with a parking lot. But you can also do this with either Edmodo or Blogger. I think all of you guys use Edmodo. But today I want to try it with Blogger. So if you're on the computer, go to Blogger. If you're on an iPad, you can download Blogger. Blogger is hooked to Gmail. So if you have a Gmail account, you already have a Blogger account. And it's simply blogger.com. So this is my blogging page. I have several blogs. When I was in the classroom, I think I said my classroom. Yeah. You blog. When I was in the classroom, this was the blog that I set up for my students. It's old now. It was like complete post on. But you would create a blog, and then you have the students comment on whatever the topic is. So we're going to create a blog, and I know you can do this through Edmodo, but we're going to use Blogger for now. Once you're in blogger.com, you log in with your Gmail account. You want to just simply click New Post. Yeah, new blog. Yours is a new blog. At the top, up here at the top, you'll simply want to put the title. And so if this was blinds, I think some of you gave blinds, right? And Ms. Rose, you gave Great Gatsby. You would put the Great Gatsby. In this box, you would type the question that you want them to respond to. So,
You have to sign up on the internet first and then do it on the app.
no, on the app, it should allow you to create an account. But I think you have a Gmail account.
I do, but when I log in, it said no blog,
We'll go to the Safari side and do it.
We just create our own address.
It's going to create it. You give it a name, and it's going to generate one for you. If that name is taken, it'll tell you cannot use it. So when you create your new blog, you have to create the name of the blog. So it could be Rose class or something creative. I did A-Push for my class, which is AP, United States History. It could be algebra, math 7, whatever you want to call it. It'll tell you if that link is available. So once you create your blog, you have to create a theme. So you go into figuring out what type of theme. It gives you some options to create your theme. So you have a new blog. You give it a title. You give it what you think you want your address to be. And you choose a theme, and then you click Create Blog. It's real simple to create. And then that's the link you give your students. You give them that link to your blog. So for example, this is a blog for one of my classes. My blog address is AUM6213, and that's just because that's the class name. But that's the link that I would share if I wanted you to comment on my blog. So once you create your blog, you should look at the blog page and you have a little orange button that says new post. And this is where you would post the question to your students. So what do you give your students? How do they know where to post their comment? The link. You give them the link to your blog. And then they comment. Now in Edmodo it works pretty much the same thing, except they don't have to have the link. They're already all logged into Edmodo. In a blog, if you wanted to comment directly on this blog, you keep trying to find a link. I mean, name.
Well, I had something that said it was open, like I put, okay, put math, talk.
You gotta give it a title. And then choose the thing. You already have your blog.
Create blog. So
You
you
can
can't
blog.
You go back to new.
So click on that blog so you can post something. Oh, line, start blogging. So now this is where you type your question to your students.
Post title.
Then you have to give it a title, and within that big white box is where you would type your comment or the question for the students. You give it a title here, just so this could be, the date could be the title you want it to be, or it could be reflection or answer this, and then the question will go in the body. So, assembly, then your question about assemblies will go there. If it's in a Word document, you can always copy and paste it into the blog. You don't have to type it if it's something you already have created.
Okay, look. I did that.
You have down the top, you pick the thing, create blog.
I don't know whether just
Are you
like that.
connected? Yeah, you're connected. You're using Chrome.
I'm in.
Close out of blog altogether and try it again. Oh, Rose got her picture up. Oh, now open as a test block.
Yeah, because I'm spelling it wrong. Okay.
Who wrote the movie school system? Exit slip time. But this is a good way to keep track of what your students are learning. So like even if they were at their desk and they have to submit their exit slip, it puts a date on it and a timestamp. So you can always go back and grade it later. So it's a good way to wrap up the lesson. If you have students who were absent, they can always go back and respond. If you use the voice rec for instruction, your instruction is already there for them to go back and look at, especially if they were absent. So now that we've learned some ways to put technology into our before, during, and after strategies, I'm going to pass this sheet around that you guys will get. And these are some other ways to put BDAs in your classroom. I'm going to pull it up on the board. And then for the last thing I want you guys to do for me is we're going to create a lesson plan using BDAs and then a technology tool. So if you get a sheet of paper out, if you'll get a sheet of paper out, I think we have white paper in the back. Somebody grab a sheet of white paper. Thank you. Alright, so these are some other tools that you can use to put in your lesson plan for your before, during, and after. So if you decide to do a quick write, you can use Blogger. If you decide to preview and predict, you can use Wordle and Tuxedo again. And anticipation guide, you can use SurveyMonkey. Brain warmers, you can always show videos from TED Ed or YouTube. 5-word prediction, ABC. During the instruction for a jigsaw, VoiceThread is good for a jigsaw and a KWL. If you wanted them to create a graphic organizer, it's Bubble US. And there's also an app for that. Say something. You can do poll everywhere. And cubing, I created a flip chart for you guys to use. And then for your after journal response, Facebook. It's just like Facebook, but it's called Facebook. And then exit slip selling, 321 Blogger and Edmodo. And then I provided some other resources. So let's work on you guys' lesson plan. And you can use any one of these tools. So you just write a before strategy, write your topic, then write your before strategy and what you want your students to do with that technology tool. So we'll take some time to do that, and then we'll share that in just a moment. All right. So thank y'all for working. And so let's share aloud what you guys have come up with in your lesson plans. Who wants to volunteer? Thank you. Yes, sir, go ahead.
I chose the lesson I wanted to talk about. What is a Dream Deferred? The poem by Langston Hughes.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
For my before, I wanted to use a brain warmer video that's on YouTube that is a voice illustration of the poem itself. My during, I wanted to use Blogger and introduce the poem in question form in regards to what this poem means to them, what can they pull out of it that applies to what their personal goals and dreams are. And then my after would be my 3, 2, 1. 3 things learned, 2 still don't understand, and 1 question that they still have.
Okay, very good. Anybody else want to share? Yes, ma'am.
I chose for my title, since I'm math, I did mean, median, mode, and range.
Okay.
And for my before, I used the YouTube tool, because I know that they have a lot of videos that are really helpful. So I